Khan, hey, shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. I would also like to give a double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which would be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. A shalom, beloved Akiyam and Akwath. Let's just buy on back again through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I just want to get into a brief lesson. It's not going to be long and drawn out. Just through the spirit, there's this notion amongst, these non-believers of Israel, whether it be Jake or these heathen as well, that us so-called, they call us black Hebrew Israelites, all right, which couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. All right, and that's just a stigma they put on us to place us in the category of being able to blame us. All right, that's just Esau's play on words. But needless to say, there's this notion that, amongst the Hebrew Israelites, we teach that the heathens will not be in the kingdom, which is not true. Now, you have congregations like the IUIC with their confusion that they're pushing over there. They stand on a form of a foundation like that, where they say, the heathen will not be able to enter into the kingdom of heaven. I don't think they even understand what the kingdom of heaven is. Now, in the sense of them, the heathen receiving glory or entering into the second covenant, being immortal, no, they're not going to be they're not going to be within the kingdom of heaven in that sense. All right, but the scriptures tell us. Let's go here real quick. What is the kingdom of heaven? Where's it going to be? All right, let me go here real quick. Bear with me. And let me see here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this phone. I'll just use this to make sure the stream stays clean. Bear with me, Akiyam and Akwath. Let me see here. And I went on ChatGPT as well. I want to share some information regarding, what I was, breaking down with Chat, regarding the IUIC as well. They have a very wayward doctrine. And they're part of the reason why, these people think we're teaching the heathen won't be in the kingdom. No, the heathen are going to be in the kingdom. All right? As servants and handmaids, bondsmen and bondswomen. All right? For a grievous 1,000 years. And then it's going to transition to more of a, it's going to transition into a tributary, subservient, subordinate type of rulership over them. But there's a 1,000-year captivity that they gotta meet, in efforts to
be recompensed for everything that they've done, you know, to us Israelites, man. And that's prophecy. That's the reality of this thing. But needless to say, let's get this real quick. Now, when you go to the book of Revelation, chapter 5, real quick. And I'm going to start from verse 9. And it reads, and they sung a new song, which is an old song, all right? The song of Moses, right? Which is the song of us having victory over our enemies through our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, right? Saying, thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. And we know Yahweh Shai was the one that was worthy, right? For thou was slain and has redeemed us to power by thy blood, excuse me, out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, because we've been scattered into every people and tongue, kindred and nation, pursuant to Deuteronomy 28 and 64. All right, look at this. And has made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. Okay, so the kingdom of heaven is not going to be some place where you're just floating around in the fourth dimension somewhere. No, the kingdom of heaven is going to be on the planet. The earth, remember, the earth abideth forever. 2 Ezra 6 establishes the reality, right, of the earth being, the world was created for our sake, and everything in it, including the heathen. Okay, so to make the point, the heathen are going to be in the kingdom of heaven. All right, but they're going to be under subjection. All right, just like how we're within their kingdom. All right, we're in there. We're living out the world of Esau right now, right? Which is his heaven. We're in his heaven right now. We're moving throughout his rulership, throughout his empire, throughout his heaven. You know, as bondsmen and bondswomen. Right? It went from chattel slavery to what? Corporate slavery now, right? We've been relieved of, you know, the chains and the fetters of iron on the body, and now it's on the mind. You know, but now we're in a position where we're here building his empires, man. The gasoline of his world. You know, hey, why would it be any different in the kingdom of heaven? Now, granted, it's going to be under righteousness in the kingdom of heaven, how we're going to deal with these heathen. You see? But the reality is this: they're going to be in the kingdom of heaven. All right, so this notion that you Renaissance Christianity, Christians want to accuse us of saying that we teach that you're not going to be in the kingdom of heaven. No, you're going to be there, all right. You're going to be there. You're going to be right there. You know, you're just not going to be on the status that you think you're going to be on. Okay. Okay, so that's right. That's that. The kingdom of heaven, and IUIC, do they know this? You know, because again, when I went to ChatGPT, I asked Chat, I said, does the IUIC teach that the heathens will not be in the kingdom of heaven? It says, yes. The IUIC, Israel United in Christ, all right, just a blasphemous title in itself, teaches that heathens, non-Israelites, as they define them, will not be in the kingdom of heaven. The coming kingdom of power on earth. You see, so who's going to serve us if that's the case? When you go to the book, that's madness, man. False doctrine. And they're pushing nothing but confusion over there at the IUIC, man. You know, but they got robots that are following behind them that just can't see through the smoke. But it's a necessary evil. We know the 2/3 are going to be more than the 1/3. So, you know, it makes sense when you take it for what it is. This is the book of Proverbs. Chapter 14. As a matter of fact, let me get this in the and then let me see if do I want it in the NLT? Let me see something real quick, because it hits different in another translation. I just can't. I think it might be the Good News Bible, or let me see. This hits too. The book of Proverbs, chapter 14, and verse 28. Right in the let me see here. Yeah, this is right here. The book of Proverbs, chapter 14, and verse 28 in the NLT, and it reads, "A growing population is a king's glory." All right? That's why when you read the book of Sirach, the 10th chapter, it says, "An unwise king destroyeth his people." What are you doing, Esau? The people of your glory, who you call goyim, right? Which goyim just means nations. That's your glory, stupid. You know, and you see this dude push that 2020 crime to humanity campaign, showing you that this dude's a foolish dude. But the point I'm making here is, check this out. Proverbs 14:28, a growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. Okay? So the question I'm raising to the IUIC, who's going to be serving us, man? All right, if the heathen are not going to be in the kingdom. You see? Who's going to be serving us? You just made null and void Isaiah 60. You see? It doesn't make sense. You see that? So let me go here. When you go to the law, right? The book of Leviticus. This is the book of Leviticus chapter 25 real quick, right? In verse 44, it reads this. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen, all right, that are round about you. All right, now listen to this. Now, this is the time, this is going into the year of Jubilee, but we got to read this in context and understand what it's saying. All right, look it. By both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you, and of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, now I'm jump down to verse 46, and ye shall take them as an inheritance, man. All right, for your children after you. Listen to this. And to inherit them for possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. This is not going to change. When we transition into the kingdom of heaven, this is going to come into its perfection, is what this is going to come into. Let me read that again. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you. I'm sorry, did I jump down? I didn't jump down. It's like verse 46. All right. The book of, forgive me for that, Leviticus 25 and 46. And ye shall take them as an inheritance, talking to the heathen, for your children after you, to inherit them for possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. Okay? But over your brethren, the children of Israel, you should not rule one over another with rigor. So in the kingdom of heaven, all right, again, this is going to come into its perfection. You see, the heathen belong to us. They're part of our inheritance. They're part of the inheritance, man. They're part of what when the Lord. Let me get this real quick. I had mentioned it earlier, but let me just go get it. The Spirit told me to go get it. When you go to the book of it's been a while since I pulled this out too. Let's get it. All right, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 53. Upon the 6th day, all right, which was the 6,000 year, all right, if you can receive it, all right, the day to the Lord is 1,000 years, man. All right, as it's written. All right, look, upon the 6th day, thou gavest commandment unto the earth, that before thee it shall bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And I want to say this: it's going to take a day, right, to bring this earth back to a paradise estate. All right, when you tap into Revelations, the 20th chapter, we got in that 1,000 years. Those that are going to reign with Mashiach for that 1,000 years. All right, it's going to take that long to bring this earth back to its paradise estate, and it's going to take that long for these heathen nations to build up, all right, the kingdom, bro. All right, to lay that gold down, to set up them palaces, man. And they're going to do it perfectly, bro. All right? They're going to do it perfectly. Look, let's continue on. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, and Adam is Yahushai, if you can receive it. All right? For you new listeners that may not know that. All right? Adam was Yahushai. Okay? Of him come we all right? And for you new listeners, Adam was Yahushai. He was Melchizedek. All right? He was Solomon. You got to know this. All right? Continuing on. Of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen, You see, there's a chosen people. So you have this doctrine where, you know, from these wacky tacky bugged out, you know, Renaissance Christianity, you know, so-called Christians, they'll stand on that. They would all we all come from Adam. First and foremost, they don't even know how. You know, how we all come from Adam, all right, it's through Noah, all right, which was the direct descendant from Adam. And through Noah, his sons, what Shem, Ham, and Japheth, is how we're likened unto all coming from Adam. Because as we know, the Lord flooded the earth and killed 99.9% of the population, preserving only 8 precious souls, bro. You see? So there's a chosen people that came out of Shem, okay? And you can trace this chosen seed line, all right, via the Torah. You know, you can go through it. You can go pre-flood to post-flood, man, and make it all make sense. We've done lessons on this, you know. But for you new listeners, you got to do a diligent search and search these things out as well. The Lord preserved that chosen. You see? Check this out. And there's a chosen within the chosen. Let me just make that point. Galatians 6:16. But listen to this. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. So this world was made for our sakes. Check this out. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel, bro. All right? And I'm bringing this out to make the point that the heathen nations belong to us. The world was made for our sake. And everything in it, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, it belongs to Israel, man. You know, starting with the elect, starting with those joint heirs, man. You know? And this is the reality of this thing, man. This is the reality. So when you go to what did I want to grab? There was another precept that came to mind before I decided to grab this. I can't remember. But needless to say, I'll continue to just make the point. So this notion, all right, that the heathen, I remember now, the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, this notion that the heathen will not be in the kingdom of heaven is the furthest thing from the truth. All right, because you heathen nations are gonna be all up in the kingdom of heaven, getting the job done. All right, let's go there. I'm already know Isaiah 60. All right, and again, you're not gonna be in the kingdom of heaven established like you think you will be. Okay, no, man, the table's gonna turn. All right, the world of Jacob's gonna manifest, man, and the Lord's gonna put everything back in its rightful order. Everything's out of order right now. All right. You have there's princes on foot, right, and a whole slave on horseback, as the scripture tells in Ecclesiastes. Let me get that real quick. Bear with me. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 7, and it reads, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth, bro. And this is, you can liken this unto that Teddy Roosevelt statue, bro. All right? If you Akiyama Nakwa, never seen it, let me get it real quick. Right here. For you Akiyama Nakwa that may not have never seen it. This is what Ecclesiastes, bear with me, Salakia. Can I put it this way? No, I'll just leave it this way. This is what Ecclesiastes 10 and 7 is talking to. And this is the spirit. We brought this out yesterday. I can't. This is what Ecclesiastes 10 and 7 is talking to. You see? I have seen servants on horses and princes on foot. Let's read it again, right? The book of Ecclesiastes. I'm just referencing the reality of everything being flipped upside. Everything's upside down, bro. All right, look at Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants, all right, upon the earth. Check it out. And you have a representation of the northern and southern kingdom there. You got the tribe of Gad, all right, and you got the tribe of Judah there, which is, again, is a representation of the northern and southern kingdom. Walking on foot as servants, because we're not servants. We're not supposed to be, in the sense of being servants unto these heathen. We're ministers unto our Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. We're not servants unto these heathen, but and this is that shame that we're bearing. Okay? Bear with me, Aki Yamanakwa. Part of that shame we're bearing is being subjugated under these heathen, where we're better than them. In every way, shape, form, and fashion. Yes, it's the truth. Call it what you want. All right? Thus saith the Lord, man. All right? Deuteronomy 4, what we read in 2nd Ezra 6, the world was created for our sake. The heathen are likened unto nothing. The Lord established that, man. He stood on, he meant, matter of fact, let me see something. Let me see if I can grab something real quick. Aki Yamanakwa. Something just came to mind. What scripture is that? Oh my goodness. You know what? Let me see if I can get this real quick. The Wadi Habashim Shai. This is the book, and this is what Ezra was quoting. All right. The book of I forgot where it was at. There's the book of Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah. Bear with me, so Salakia for the background noise. All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, and verse 15. And it reads, Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. All right, these heathen are minute to the Lord, but they're going to be in the kingdom. That's why they're supposed to be servants unto us. Look. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. The trees from Lebanon, that's the best wood you can get, right? And the Lord is saying that's not sufficient to burn. It's not gonna suffice, right? Look at all nations before him are as nothing, right? And they are counted to him less than nothing in vanity. You see? But anyways, let's go to Isaiah 60. All right. And I mean, the point I'm making is that what? You're not going to be in the kingdom on a level as far as, matter of fact, let's go to Isaiah 14. You're not going to be on the kingdom on a level. You know what I mean? You're not going to be immortal. No. You're going to be under servitude, bro. But again, it's going to be under righteousness. The first 1,000 years is going to hurt. We're going to make that point. But after that, Esau is going to go bye-bye, pursuing Obadiah 1 and 18. And the earth is going to be established as a paradise, man. And you heathen are going to be able to what? Enjoy it. All you heathen besides Esau. And you're gonna constantly be paying tributary, bro. We're gonna show you. But let's get this first. The book of Isaiah. Let's see here. Chapter 14. Let's jump on down. Matter of fact, let me start up and then we'll jump on down. Let's make this make sense. Let's bring it all in. Let's bring it all together. I'm gonna jump around a little bit just to bring it together. You know what I mean? Paint the picture. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, in verse 5, and it reads, "The Lord Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers," man. All right, this is talking to Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man in the form of the global elite. They're the wicked. All right, all the way down to the regular Joe Six-Pack Edomite, man. All right, the Lord Yahweh is going to break the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. They're going to be removed out of power. That transition, right, from Esau to Jacob, all right, is going to come. It's going to happen. Look, check this out. Jumping on to verse 7, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing, right, upon the wicked being removed from the power seat, right? Isaiah 47, upon the wicked sitting in the dust, the daughter of Babylon, man. All right, this is the throne of Esau. All right, why it's important to bring this up. But needless to say, check it out. Jumping down to verse 11, right? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee, man. Right? That word symbolizes death. All right, because that's exactly what's going to happen. This nigga's transitioning right now. He's decaying now. That represents decay. He's decaying. Esau right now, Esau's decaying as we speak. You know? And ultimately, all his pride is going to be leveled upon the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai, as scriptures tell us in Isaiah, the 13th chapter. Upon the Lord punishing the world for their evil, he's going to, all the haughtiness, all the pride, all that's going to cease. Haughtiness, all that's going to cease, right? Continuing on, verse 12, right? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? And this is not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. That's a false doctrine, a false narrative, and a lack of understanding. When you get this word Lucifer, all right, it goes into light bearer or light bringing. All right, those that bear the light. All right, this is talking to the global elite, those that are in the power seat. All right, those that are in heaven, in heavenly places, they're sovereign. They control the resources. They got people under them. Okay, they control, they own land, they own the earth. Okay? Here's who this is talking about, man. These international banking families, man. Look at, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations, man? All right? And the Lord Yahweh Shai said he saw Satan fall like lightning, man. It's going to happen quick. When the Lord serves this dude up a cold plate of judgment, it's going to happen quick, y'all. And you know it. You already know, Akiyamanakwa. For thou hast said in thine heart and thy mind, I will ascend into heaven. And he damn near did, right, with the space station. He got satellites all up there. He got the Space Force. They got direct energy weapons up there, right, which you can liken unto, bear with me, let me just continue on. I will exalt my throne above the stars of power. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, which is talking to Israel, in the sides of the north, which is talking about America, North America, man. Over here in the northwest. You see? Check it out. I'm going to jump down to verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, which is captivity, right? To the sides of the pit. See, the Lord's ultimately going to take this place out. And starting with Esau's the head heathen. All right? All these heathen are going to captivity, starting with Esau. Okay? Starting with their nobles and their kings. All right? Check this out. Let me jump down. I'm going to jump down to verse 18. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own place, right? And this is talking to them getting their portion of land, right? And when the time is fit, when they're beyond, when after that 1,000-year captivity, man, all right, when they're going to receive their burial, they're going to get their resting place. Check this out. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch. You see that? He's going to be cast out of his grave. He's not going to have a resting place. They're going to be gathered, pursuing Obadiah 1 and 18. And you, Akim and Akwat, I know, you know. Look at, and as the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Here's the point. Thou shalt not be joined with them who? The kings of the nations. All right? The heathen nations, right? Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial. See, he's going to have no resting place. And remember, this is talking to Lucifer, which is talking to the elite. Okay? And remember, all shit rolls downhill, man. All right, I'm going to have to get one more precept to prove that, right? Check it out. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land, right? Dummy, right? Esau's in violation of Revelations, what's that, 11 and 18, right? Because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people, right? Again, this nigga created the greatest crime to humanity known to man. He's still in the process of doing it in the form of his what? Depopulation agenda. Okay? This nigga is a madman. But these are all charges he's trumping up upon himself to be, he's trumping them up upon himself to be served up later. This nigga sin that reached up to heaven, bro. Look it. And slain thy people, the seed of evildoers will never be renowned, because the Lord's going to take the seed of the wicked off the planet. Let's continue on. Prepare slaughter for his children. See, remember, this is still talking, this is talking to Lucifer that fell from heaven. The Lord's speaking, he's showing a separation, you know, between this head heathen Lucifer and the rest of these kings of the earth, right? These kings of the nations, which is talking to these heathens. Right, look it. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, man. Right? You Edomites want to glorify your founding fathers, right? Get purple hearts to these niggas that done, leveled villages and, kill men, unarmed men and women with the baby still strapped to them, man, the babies and the children. Come on, man. Look, let's continue on. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities, man. Right? Because Esau's time is going to run out. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. You are not going to be able to rise up out of the ashes like the phoenix bird, right? And pursue the digital renaissance, of the Edomite, and conquer the earth again on the wickedness. Is not going to happen. Check this out. I'm going to wrap up with this one, right? As far as this point I'm making. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. That seed line. All right? With no seed line, there's no nation. All right? And I just want to make that point. But the point of me even coming here was to highlight the reality of the heathen having a burial. They're going to have a resting place on the earth. All right? They're going to have a place where, they can, have a family and enjoy the paradise of the earth. The heathen not going to, there's no end to all the people. Let me get that scripture real quick before we go to Isaiah, because I got to go to Isaiah 60. But let's get this. Ecclesiastes 4:16, there is no end of all the people, man. All right, even of all that have been before them, they also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this is also vanity and vexation of spirit. So, when it comes to Esau's situation, we know in part and we prophesy in part, right? The secret things belong to the Most High. But those things that are revealed unto us belong to us and our children forever. So as far as what the Lord's going to do with Esau's spirit, with the spirit of the Edomites, we will find out in the kingdom. But one thing's for certain is written, all right, that the Lord's going to cut off Amalek, all right, which is the chief house of the Edomites, man. Point blank period. There ain't no way around it. So what the Lord's going to do with the spirit, he's the father of spirits, man. Okay, we can only stand on what we know, and go from there. We'll find out in the kingdom as far as what the Lord's going to do with their spirits, man. All things will be revealed. But we have to stand on what we know. And this is the reality. The Bible The scriptures don't contradict themselves, right? The Lord is not a author. He doesn't sow confusion. He's not an author of confusion. All right, and that's why we got precepts to back up the point. You know, we will find out what the Lord does with Esau's spirit, with the spirits of the Edomites. We will find out. You know, but why I'm bringing this out is that we're going to have bondsmen and bondwomen in the kingdom. What is the IUIC talking about? I don't even think they know. You know, but and check this out, right? So I also asked ChatGPT regarding these people over there at the IUIC. I said, let me see if I can find it. This is crazy. Watch this. I said, do they teach the heathens will go to hell? It says short answer. No. IUIC generally does not teach that heathens will go to hell. Okay? Watch this. I said, does the IUIC teach disobedient Israelites will go to hell? Short answer. Yes. What the hell? And I'm not being facetious when I say that. Come on, man. So they teach that the heathens won't go to hell. But they teach that disobedient Israelites will go to hell. They're sowing confusion over there. They're sold out. Bishop and thing is making all types of money. Dude's a millionaire. All right? And again, you robots under him. You can easily go. You know this information already because he's teaching it. He's telling you in your face that the heathen are not going to go out. And when the Jake comes up, no, disobedient Jake, because they know better or what have you, and they'll go to hell, though. Come on, man. This is crazy. But I just want to share that. That's not even the point of the point I'm trying to make. But I just want to share that because I was curious. You know what I mean? Because the last time I remembered, the IUIC was teaching the hell doctrine. So the spirit moved me. Yup, them bags. So the spirit moved me, and them bags are going digital. All right. So and Bishop Nathaniel was coming to that conclusion. All right. So what you gonna do then? All right, because the bag is going digital, my boy. All right, you ain't gonna be able to stand on that fiat for much longer. You're gonna have to make a decision, a life or death decision. All right, let's go ahead. Like sticking to the point of the lesson. Right now, I just want to establish this point, and we out. Right, Isaiah 60. Right, and I'm gonna go to verse 10, right to the point. It says this: "And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls." Right. Let me see something. Bear with me. I'm an aqua. Yeah, let me just go there. Right, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. Right, Isaiah 60 and 10. And right, the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. These strangers are talking to the heathen. The walls they're gonna build up is the kingdom of heaven. Revelations 21, man. Okay, these heathen gonna be much moving that precious stone around, laying down them gold roads. Yeah, man. Yup. Look it. They're gonna be there. So what's these guys talking about? And their kings shall minister unto thee, man. Their kings, their elite, okay, are gonna serve. Minister means to serve. Look, unto thee, for in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. When you go back in time, it tells us in Genesis 25, or 27 rather, that the elder shall serve the younger. Upon Jacob and Esau being born, I should say Esau and Jacob being born, because Esau came out first. Okay? And Rebekah was told that what? The elder shall serve the younger. That's going to come into its perfection in the kingdom of heaven. Now, granted, we are, through the spirit, we're older than Esau in them, but the other nations, we will be, because there's, again, the priesthood. You know, the Elohim, Genesis, the first chapter, the 144, them are Israelites, bro. That helped Yahweh Shai build everything through the blueprint of Yahweh, man. So, and there's a priesthood, there's a in the heavens, man. You know, that was before the earth began. You know, but when you look at it from a carnal standpoint, just how the story played out, and you know, on the carnal level, Esau's older. You see, he's our diabolical, deranged, all right, fraternal twin brother. All right, that broke the brotherly covenant. right? He came out first, red all over, looking crazy as all hell. Look at, and ultimately, again, he's going to serve Jacob. All right, and thy sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore, thy gates shall be open continually. What gates? The gates for the kingdom. Why? They shall not be shut, nor day or night, that men may bring unto thee forces of the Gentiles, bro. Okay, look, and that their kings may be brought. They're going to be paying tributary, bro. You see? Look at, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, man. Right? Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Let's go here. Let's close out with this right here. The book of Isaiah, chapter 2, and verse 1, and it reads, the word of Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem, all 12 tribes. Right? And it shall come to pass, prophecy, in the last days. All right? The last days begin with Yahushua being born, man. Okay? But we're in the last of the last. The Lord came, he was born, right? He pursued his mission, right? His ministry was brought forth, right? He fulfilled the mission. He was crucified, right? His blood was shed, right? He was resurrected, raised up the third day, and guess what? He went back to the Father. That process played out. All right. So from now, where we stand now, we're in the tail end of the last days, man. We're coming upon this time. It's almost here. You see? Look, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house, which is the Israel, right? The mountain of the Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, bro. All right, so the kingdom of Israel, us Israel are going to be on top of these other nations, right? Mountains are symbolic for the bigger governments. But we're going to be on top. Look, and shall be exalted above the hills, man. Everybody, the smaller governments, we're going to be above all of them. All right, order is going to be put back in place. Look, and all nations shall flow unto it, man. Didn't we just read that in Isaiah 60? You already know. Look, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob. Hello, Genesis, right? And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, in the word of the Lord Yahweh from Jerusalem, man. So the heathens are gonna be present. They're just I'm just reestablishing that point. They're gonna be serving the Lord like they have to, because it's gonna be a dictatorship, man. You call it what you want. Hey, you see, we read it in Isaiah 60. Those that don't serve, they're gonna what? They're gonna perish, man. You see that? It's gonna be a righteous dictatorship, man. And that's it, man. All right, so hey, the heathen, okay, the heathen nations are going to be in the kingdom. Okay, they're just not going to be on the level or the status quo that they think they're going to be on. All right, 1,000 years of captivity, grievous captivity has to be dished out. Right, and then after that, as biblical prophecy expounds upon, right, Esau will be disintegrated, right, and he's going to go extinct, and then the rest of the nations are going to be set up, right, in their rightful lots, and they're going to be able to enjoy the paradise of the earth. You see? And then the king of peace, all right, is going to exercise judgment through his counsel when necessary, man. And that's the way this thing's going to play out. Because, again, the heathen are going to still be in carnal bodies and chains of darkness. They're not going to be immortal. Judgment's going to be going forth from time to time. They're going to slip, you know? That's going to be the time of Satan pretty much turning his back completely on Esau. Because we know Esau comes in the spirit of Satan. You see? But Satan's going to no longer be tied in with him. Now Satan's going to be coming upon you, heathen, and making you do shit to get you caught up. You see? The Lord's cold. Hey, Lord, one of you, beloved Aki Aminakwa, were edified. Hey, Lord, one of you was spiritually fed through the spirit and power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai. All right? Until next time, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. A double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Hey, till next time, beloved Aki Amenak Wak. Hey, Shalom.